Babe, can you hurry up?
I can't figure out how to buckle this thing.
We're going like 3 miles. Who cares?
All right,
Leave
fine.
it.
What are you doing?
It's dry shampoo. Do you think I have time to shower?
Why do you need that? Just wake up earlier.
Oh, maybe if you'd help me with the kids, I could bathe.
I do everything in this house.
Can
Babe,
give me
that
that?
seatbelt thing drives me crazy. It gives me a headache. Can you buckle up, please?
Okay, maybe if you would do your job, I wouldn't have to.
Mom, Dylan's mad.
Why?
Why is he mad?
Because he lost his Triceratops.
Triceratops aren't even in
They're
the
not
Bible.
in the Bible.
Okay,
They don't
we learned
exist.
creation.
Here, put some of this under your eyes. Did you not get any sleep?
I got plenty of sleep. I'm fine. What?
Daddy stayed up playing poker.
Okay, enough. Play with the Barbies.
Can you please learn how to drive?
Listen, do your makeup at the house.
I don't have time. What is this, chocolate or poop? Baby, I'm trying to put my lipstick on. If you could put...
He's learning about David and Goliath. Just let him shoot, okay?
Throw that gun at
I hate to shoot. Mom, Dylan wants to watch videos on Dad's phone.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. Tell Dylan that Daddy's texting and driving, and he can't
listen,
use it.
I'm navigating, all right? I'm on the GPS.
Okay, maybe if you went to church more, you wouldn't have to look up where it is. Can you stop hitting your brother, please?
I promise you, if I have to pull this car over, these spankings are about to be deep and wide. If your mother didn't have so many headaches at night, then maybe I wouldn't be such an irritable mood. Get control of your family.
Can you get control of the steering wheel, please?
Hold on.
How long has this coffee been in here?
I don't know, since last weekend.
I don't care.
You're in charge of the kids.
Oh, I'm in charge of the kids?
I don't know. Wives, submit to your husbands. Ever read that verse?
You ever heard the song, It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right?
That's not a Bible verse.
Sorry, kids, it sounds like Daddy needs a little N-A-P-T-I-M-E.
Okay, maybe Mommy needs some M-E-R-L-O-T again.
Where is Barbie?
Barbie's staying at home today.
Okay, maybe Barbie stayed at home because she put on her makeup at the house.
Maybe Barbie needs a new kin. But please, can I have that?
Look at that. And you would have another baby?
Mom, Dylan said he has to pee.
Let him pee in his pants. I don't care.
We have the diaper bag, sweetie. It's the church nursery's problem. No, we're not watching Moana on the way to church.
On the way to church, it's always VeggieTales. On the way home, you can watch whatever you want.
We literally don't care.
Why on the way to church is it always VeggieTales?
It's Christian.
So, how many of you, it looks like that on your way to church Sunday morning? Our next session is partnering with parents, because if they have that kind of ride to church in the morning, then they really need us to come alongside them and help. And it starts as they enter the building Sunday morning, and our greeting, check-in, breakout, they're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I think sometimes when we are in kids ministry, we think we are the ones who are the spiritual, we're the ones who are going to teach kids how to be spiritual and how to grow in Christ, and that the parents don't really care about that. But the truth is, their parents really do care about it, and they want to do a good job. Just sometimes they don't know how, or they're afraid they're going to fail. And so that's why we need to come alongside them and help them and kind of be what we talked about earlier, that Aaron and Hur, that help them, that encourage them, that give them that strength to go on. So open up in your books to page 8. And the first thing we're going to talk about is 2 things will always be true. No one has the potential to influence a kid like a parent. And a parent is not the only influence a kid needs. As a consistent small group leader or teacher, you can have a great impact in the lives of kids. I mean, you know, if you're a parent, you can tell your kids something, and somebody else can tell them the exact same thing, and who are they going to listen to? The other person. They don't always listen to us. That's why it's important for kids to have more than just their parent being an influence in their life. So how do we best leverage a parent's influence and our influence to make a greater impact in a child's life? Now, I just want to say I'm saying a parent, but as these stats that we're going to talk about show, it's not always a parent. Sometimes it's a grandparent or some other guardian. Let's look at these stats. 76.5 kids aren't in traditional families, so the greatest percentage are not. 1 out of 10 parents are unmarried. 1 in 4 are single moms. 71% of moms work outside the home. 67% are living together unmarried. So as we work with kids, we need to keep in mind who we're ministering to. Single moms, grandparents, same-sex couples bringing their kids. I know we've had that at Bridgewater. Blended families. So we can't just think the normal family, mom, dad, kids. But now back to how parents feel about parenting. The Barna Research Group covering the state of today's children and their moral development reveals that while 85% of parents believe they have the primary responsibility for their children's spiritual development, a staggering 66% admit to handing off that responsibility to their churches. So even though parents do care about it, I think because they don't feel qualified or don't know where to start or what to do, most of them hand it off to the church. So it's a big deal to us what we do here and how we encourage parents. So how? What does that look like? So we're going to start with the 3 E's of partnering: equipping, encouraging, and expecting. So your first one is equipping, giving them tools, bite-sized and practical, to help them have spiritual conversations at home. And so one thing we do here at Bridgewater is we have parent cues, and for our kindergarten through 5th, they're a monthly parent cue, and we have a picture of one coming up here. That tells us that gives the parents each week what we're talking about, the bottom line, the memory verse, and then it gives them talking points on the back side of it, which morning time, drive time, meal time, bedtime, they're kind of natural times to talk with kids. And so these parent cues we hand out give parents a way to communicate with their kids. And in our Woodlands area, they get weekly parent cues to help parents go over stuff that their kids are learning at church. Another thing is called parent packs, and this is something new that one of our campus pastors, he was down at a church in the Carolinas, and he came back with this really neat idea of parent packs, where once a month this church gave parents a pack that they could take home with window cleaner for their car and a rear view mirror holder for conversations with their kids in the car. And it had some other stuff in there too. So I'm hoping to learn more about that and maybe pilot it at a couple campuses later this fall. But I just thought that was a really good idea he found. And then family resources. We have a big push that we do at Christmas and Easter where we put it in the program so parents know what's available, and all kinds of things from devotional books to kids' coloring books to that kind of stuff for parents to use for family resources. And they're out all year round, but especially those couple times of year we push them. And then if any of you go to an adult small group, maybe you can encourage your adult small group leader to talk about parenting. And even if not that, you can share what we do at kids ministry. Maybe, take some of the resources that we have, our God times, or like we showed, the parent cues, and show parents, maybe they don't realize these resources that we have. And so take time to share that. The next E is encouraging, and this is a big one. Be positive as much as possible. Greet warmly, welcome everyone with a smile, greet the kids first by name. Learn the parent's name. If you can tell the parents their name and greet them by name, that's going to make them feel special. Ask parents, especially a new parent dropping off their child for the first time, if there is anything special they'd like us to know about their child. I think that would make a parent feel really good, and it will help you to get to know that parent and their child a little bit better. Give at least one positive thing about their child when they come to pick up, even if it's just a "she did well today." Tell them often that they are doing a good job. Listen, ask questions, and listen to their answers. And maybe some of the questions could be, what are your greatest struggles? What are your fears as a parent? How can we best help you? And if you're a parent with kids that go to our kids ministry, think about what you would like from your small group leader or how kids ministry could help you better, because that'll help you know how to be a better small group leader and how you can reach out to parents. The next one is create community. Let them know they are not alone in parenting. And so anytime we can connect parents together to talk, that's a huge thing. Our third E is expecting. What part do I expect parents to play in our partnership, and how do I communicate that? Through family events. And I know Conklin a couple years ago did a Ninja Gym family event, and that went over really well. And this year we did a mud run where we invited parents with their kids. And the parents love that, doing stuff with their kids. So create a family event. Create a meaningful experience for the entire family, where you have the whole family come, do some fun stuff together, and then the parents break off for a special session for them, and the kids have their fun. Meet with parents for part of the event to teach on a particular subject. Send something home that will keep that spiritual conversation going at home. And communicate in multiple ways, face-to-face, handouts, emails, text, church website. Even advertise in church. Maybe share stuff with your campus pastor that he can share from up front about what's going on in kids ministry. And then include parents where you can. If their child is ready to accept Christ or get baptized, when we do our baptism class, we invite parents to attend. And I have a really cool story. We had a family move up here from Hawaii, and 3 of their boys started coming, and they were coming Wednesday night to our Voyager program, and they just loved it. They were soaking it all in, especially the oldest boy, Nate. And we gave him a action Bible, and he read that through, and I was just praying and hoping before Voyager was done that he was going to accept Christ as a Savior. And week after week after week went, and he didn't. Well, finally, Easter morning here at Bridgewater Church, they gave the gospel. And when he was dismissed to his small group, he got a chance to talk with his small group leader. And I'm going to have him come and share the rest of that story and how he was able to partner with parents in that.
So like Denise said, Easter morning, they were reenacting the story of Jesus and his resurrection. And when we got back into small group, I asked the group, have any of you never heard this story before? And I had like 3 or 4 kids raise their hand that they had never heard that before, and Nathan was one of them. And so I really encouraged them to stay after class and talk to me a little bit more about Jesus. And so at the end of class, sure enough, almost all the kids had left, except for Nathan. And usually Nathan hangs around and likes to tell me about video games he's playing or pictures that he's been drawing, even show me some of his pictures. But that day, he said, you said that we could stay after and talk about God. So I got to sit down with him, and he was able to go over the whole story of Jesus and what it meant to him and how he could be saved. And just about then, his parents came to the door to pick him up. And I invited them in. And of course, I'm a little bit nervous in the back of my head. I'm like, what are the parents going to think that their kid is making this decision? But they were so accepting of it and excited for him. They invited Nathan's siblings in. So I got to sit down with the whole family. And Nathan was able to go over the whole story of Jesus' death and resurrection with his whole family and tell them what he wanted to do and the decision he wanted to make. And right there in front of the whole family, I was able to lead him in a salvation prayer. And I kind of threw out a line to see whether the parents were interested in doing the same thing right along with him. I don't think they were quite ready yet. But it was just so cool, not only to see Nathan make that decision for salvation, but also at the same time to be a witness for his whole family. We just talked a little bit about how parents have the most potential for influencing their kids. Well, it goes the other way too. Our kids have the most potential for influencing their parents.
Very good, Nate. Thank you. And it gets to be a double blessing, that Nate got to bring the parents in. And like you said, they're not saved. They're still not saved yet. But I know Nate continues to read his Bible and talk to his siblings about it and his parents about it. So what a really neat thing. Now we're going to go to our next steps, because I know this can seem overwhelming. I know Sunday mornings, there's a lot going on, and you think, how can I partner with a parent or ask questions? I just can't do that. Well, maybe just take a next step. Think about, where are you serving on Sunday morning, and what place can you play in having that next step in a parent's life? Maybe it is in your adult small group, talking about it there. Maybe it's the parent queue. If whoever's handing out the parent queue, maybe they can explain what this parent queue is. Have more face-to-face conversations. Help with a family event. I have some ideas out there on the welcome desk. I forgot to tell the person to put them out there, but I will make sure they are out there. They're not stuff necessarily that we've done at Bridgewater, but they're ideas. And maybe as a volunteer, you can grab one and look it over and come to your champion and say, hey, I would love to help you do this family event.